And the other bead as well just awakened moments ago when confronting a demigod, and the empty contents were filled by the tricolored gourd. This energy. The way it's manipulated and its effects are no different from chi, no, rather, perhaps because it's of the same kind of energy, it's much more effective in blocking attacks. However, the Goblin Club isn't being drawn out at all. The ability to deflect impacts feels somewhat compromised, as if a screw is missing somewhere. There must be different methods of utilization depending on the type of energy. The Goblin Club is a technique that can only be used with chi, it's fundamentally incompatible with my current energy. Then what should I do? If I continue like this, it'll just be a repetition of earlier events. The opponent isn't someone I can simply overpower with brute force alone. If there's no way to utilize this energy, hey, I only had a sandwich at the airport this morning. And that was before getting on the plane. What am I supposed to do? Should I order room service, or go out alone to eat and come back? Am I supposed to fill up on room service after coming all this way? Also, I'm not sure if you're being bold or if something else is going on. It's all because of you that I can't go out alone, you know. Your actions earlier today triggered surveillance. Just the fact that it's not a complete ban on going out is enough to raise suspicions, but when we go out, we have to move together. I know that too. If it weren't for that, I would have gone to find that person immediately. Who do you mean by that person? What happened to the people here? That goblin had mixed human blood. Setting that aside, thanks to that, he was able to save my life. The reason I was there was to track down the Dark Watchers along with you. What's this? The stories I've heard from our side weren't like that. Of course. It's obvious what happened, isn't it? They're trying to twist everything the Dark Watchers did. News reports of group disappearances received in various locations in Seoul/Gyeonggi. That's the only way they can save face, by saying they've caught the culprits. Ah, is that how it feels? In that case, there's really not much difference between here and our side. Well, I understand your feelings for now, sis. You're feeling anxious because of the false accusation, right? But we can't take any more actions. You understand that too, right? Apart from the fact that we're guests in this land, we and those people are in the same industry, and will be competitors in the near future. The fact that they govern this Republic of Korea and we and other Inyang families oversee Japan. It's just traces of the Goryeo dynasty in the Kamagura period, 666 years ago, after all. To the past Joseon royal family, and to the current government of the Republic of Korea, those people are nothing but ancient myths recorded hundreds of years ago. While we may give them the benefit of the doubt for now, entrusting them with the future and power ahead seems highly dubious. If they're deemed powerless, this country's government will undoubtedly turn to other countries' shamans without hesitation. Of course, that applies to us too. All the shamans worldwide must be sensitive to this issue right now. But for us to intervene in this situation, it could be seen as meddling with the rice bowl, so to speak. I understand that too. Even if I wanted to do something, I don't have the strength for it. I understand now what Master meant when he said, it's tough when the ground changes. Until lunchtime, I thought my condition wasn't great, but when I exerted myself, I realized. Since setting foot in this country, my strength has definitely weakened. Is it just me? Well, you're a master of shikigamis, so your experience might be several times worse than mine. Earlier, you used lightning, right? Perhaps it could be that child's problem even more than you, sis. I think it's possible for me too. Want to come with me? Huh? What? Where did he go? So, just come with me quietly. I want to avoid anything that might harm you as much as possible. How can I save that person? It wasn't just Saiwu who had such thoughts. Of course, at that point, there was nothing Yuzuru's Shikigami, lightning, could do. A Shikigami is entirely dependent on the one who handles it. Without receiving energy from the shaman or any commands, they're no different from ordinary souls. But perhaps they made efforts for the sake of loyalty to their master. At this point, with its master's safety assured, lightning should have returned to Yuzuru immediately. However, the overwhelming fear received from the monster momentarily plunged the Shikigami into panic. Strike. A bit too late to flee. Normally, lightning could have returned to the master as planned. But there's a new variable. A human body with the talent of the shamans blocking the master's path. Absorb them naturally for now. However, trapped within Saiwa's body, where only chi exists, lightning found herself imprisoned. It was a situation that couldn't be understood instantly with the intelligence and knowledge of both. Nevertheless, both had the same instinctual thought. If it's not this guy, we're dead. It's a bit different from the Goblin Club, but just knowing I can face it head-on is enough. And, now, I think I can finally be sure. In terms of strength and speed, I'm actually superior. The only thing overwhelming me over him is skill. Every time I try to move, he reads that timing and unleashes unavoidable attacks. In that case, what about the attacks just now? It's not that I couldn't block them, it's as if I didn't even attempt to defend. Interesting. Since you can never seize the initiative, you gracefully accept that fact. Not only attacks, you won't even bother defending unless it's fatal, huh? Even if you wait, there won't be any openings for me. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not sure if it'll work or not, but I thought this was the only answer, so I've decided. That's all. Fine. I'll dance my swordplay as fiercely as I can, so try to withstand it if you can. Sword Dance God. A god performing a sword dance literally. Saiwu as he is now is not a match for such an opponent. Even if one were to devise a strategy, it wouldn't be enough to thwart the level of martial arts. Despite the effort being valiant. This is the end. Saiwu himself keenly felt. The only thing he believed in was memories of the past. Regardless of his power, among all the opponents he had faced so far, the ability to momentarily paralyze their physical body was the worst, even for the most formidable monsters. Now. It seems you never had any intention of exploiting my vulnerabilities from the start. The weakness of the divine possession. No matter how powerful a deity you embody, the abilities the deity can exert are subject to the limitations of the physical vessel it inhabits. It was enduring until the thunderous chi surged through this body through the cross sword. I told you. This was the only way. You deliberately let your guard down. You could have easily ended the fight in one go if you really wanted to. There wouldn't have been a second chance if I was any less powerful. Well, it would have been a real problem if that had happened, but it turned out fine in the end, didn't it? Above all, even if you don't know who you are, it's not like it's your own body. It's a bit much to want to kill someone without having your own life at stake. A reckless fellow to the end. Yeah, fine. It's not the loser's right to keep adding words. If there's another chance. Let's dance again next time. It's over. I don't have the combat skills to fight you, nor do I have the strength to perform another ritual. It's our defeat. Those are lies. It was only one confrontation, but that alone made it clear. I may not know exactly how skilled she is, but you're definitely superior to that man. So what the hell, hey man? He's calling me Yushin, I knew it, this crazy bastard. Why are you here? Did the yokai just let you come here? No, what did you do earlier in the day? I just told you to be confident and not get scared. Did I tell you to set off bombs in broad daylight when people are around? Sorry, I'm just stupid and reckless. You're a real pro at pretending to be sorry. It would be so convenient if apologizing could just fix everything. There's no need to try to understand it all. This situation is exactly how you see it. This guy has been my best friend since middle school. I only found out he was a goblin yesterday, and it's just a coincidence. He's definitely not someone who would harm others. You're not the one to decide that. Even more so if there's a previous relationship with the culprit. You should know that well enough. If you truly are the successor of the Sungsu clan, I'm not that shameless of a person. Whether this guy is innocent or not, I know my actions have been inappropriate as a Sungsu clan member. Even if it's an unreasonable excuse, the successor of the Sungsu clan can't take the side of a mere yokai. So, from this moment on, I will resign from my position as the successor of the Sungsu clan. What? Resigning from the position of successor, that's impossible. Maybe it was like that till now. Everyone is struggling to obtain something, so why would they resign? There shouldn't be a problem. Everyone will pretend to be outraged, saying, "How could you?" but, deep down, they'll be ecstatic. Because such a coveted position is now vacant. Well, I think expressing my stance at this point is enough. Don't drag it out, it would be better if you made it clear soon. Just so you know beforehand, I have no intention of killing or seriously injuring you. So if you quietly release your barrier, I'll gratefully accept it as well. If you fulfill your duty, there's no choice. I'll do everything in my power to bring you down. Without holding back. I have no choice in this matter. How could I possibly oppose you, master? That person's eyes. I did as you instructed, sir. If you release the portion of another individual among the 5 present here, the barrier will disappear, right? Thank you. I don't know what's going on, but you've acted wisely. Now take your sibling and retreat to wherever. If you don't fight and simply release the barrier, it won't be good for you either. Yes. I didn't come here because of you. I was sleeping and was suddenly dragged out for a mission. The other 5 of us were tasked with setting up a barrier. We were waiting for you, not knowing if you'd come here. I was supposed to arrive first inside the barrier, defeat any yokai that came, and bring out your mother. In the process, I encountered the yokai who came to rescue your mother. We agreed to cooperate with each other. But you don't need to worry about me. Listen carefully, the current situation is quite challenging. By now, if you've been listening to the story, you can probably guess. From now on, there are only 3 guardians left besides me. And all 3 of them are stronger than the 2 you were just fighting combined. When you say, the 2 combined, you assume that the lady joined the battle, right? Yes. Except for that sibling pair, everyone dispatched here, including me, is a guardian. In their case, combining their strength gives them abilities comparable to a guardian, so they were hastily called in. Because of you, because you're incompetent. Even if they combine their strength, in reality, it's basically the younger sibling relying on the older sister's skill and ability. I thought you'd notice that something wasn't right, so I'm relieved you somehow fell for it. Well, are you hurt anywhere? It's annoying, don't ask me that. Anyway, there are 3 of those monsters. To leave this place, you have to defeat one of them. Hey, how many gourds do you have left that I gave you? There are 2 left, should I give them all? No. Just 1. Grip and pour. Listen carefully, Choi Saiwoo. One of the 3 guardians will most likely fight against one of the yokai who came to protect your mother. The commotion just now probably indicates that the fight between those 2 has started in earnest. As for your mother, the other monster has probably taken her and fled. Your job is to find and join them. I'll take care of one of the guardians and fight, so the 3 of you need to find a way to hide from the remaining guardian. And me and the fox yokai, once one of us wins and breaks the barrier, get out of here immediately. For a moment, the words, "Don't be ridiculous, how could you both?" welled up my throat. But the reason those words didn't come out of my mouth is because I know how reckless and arrogant they would sound. I said it during our training in the training ground. Our abilities are less than half of what they really are in there. So, seeing it now, how does it feel? Do you think I was lying? To a friend who is prepared to sacrifice and give up everything for themselves. Not at all. How could I force such contrived worry onto a friend like that? Oh, goodness, if the old man finds out, he'll have a fit. Especially when they're already on edge to the point of death these days, and their only son is playing around with a yokai. Well, watching the old man collapse would be quite a spectacle in itself. Look, sir. Don't you have any intention of changing your mind right now? Forget it. Of course, it's your life, sir, but I quite like you. You have the qualities, and above all, your personality is completely different from the other family members. Instead of that, why don't you hit the person next to you right now? Anyway, except for those 2, no one knows what happened inside the house except for my children, Jack Young and Jack Wang. I've managed to keep those 2 quiet. It's a shame to hit you like this, sir. Even if you think of your mother, I didn't know my uncle thought of me like that. But unfortunately, I was spotted by Unsing just before coming here. That tricky old fox. Well, leaving that aside. I've been thinking about leaving home for a long time. I couldn't stand being cooped up at home. Is that so? It's not that I don't understand. Mom will be on the rooftop of the apartment. As soon as the barrier is lifted, you can fly away to escape. Go quickly. And, no matter what happens, make sure you're by her side. So, if I understood correctly, you and Sir were friends, right? There are all sorts of things in this world. There's nothing I can say to that even if you curse me as crazy. Huh? Why would I call you crazy? If someone risked their life to save a friend, how many people in this world wouldn't be considered crazy? There are a total of 7 successors in the Sungsu clan. It's a pity, really, it's a pity. All of them are evaluated as skilled enough to rival spirit class yokai, and possess physical strength that can rival a legion-level force. With their own learned martial arts, and according to their inclinations, each one of them is bestowed with a title of a deity. And it has to be me who has to deal with Aru, one of the few real experts among the crazies. The third-ranked successor of the Sungsu clan, Tosin, Butcher Immortal, Kim Jegan. I'll try my best to finish it as quickly as possible. The seventh-ranked successor of Sungsu clan, Kim Yushin. This way, you'll be less hurt, kid. It won't take long anyway. There's no need to be so tense. Don't worry, I share your thoughts too. Whether it's the young master or other yokai, the goal is to keep you alive. Besides, none of you can leave from here anyway, so the only difference is when and by whom you'll be caught. By the way, doesn't that hand hurt? Even if you're a yokai, you must still feel pain to some extent. Well, perhaps if your sort of devil had been a bit more extraordinary, it might have been agonizing. Do you know what it is? I crafted that myself. It's when a human soul, entangled in intense emotions and resentment, becomes corrupted. There's not much difference from what's commonly known as an evil spirit. However, unlike ordinary malevolent spirits, the devil is a meticulously designed existence. After confining the individual intended for the devil, alternating between physical and mental torment along with psychological anguish until just before death. When the life reaches its limits and is severed using an item meant to contain the devil. That's how a powerful shamanic tool, imbued with all that resentment and power, is created. It was a creation I painstakingly crafted. Was it lacking in some way? Well, there's nothing to be done about it. I have no choice but to ask for help from other friends. Have you waited long enough? By now, he should have run far enough away. Is there anything else to say at this point? It's easier than I thought, but still. Summoning, subduing Demon Emperor. Upper half. Among the deities worshipped by the shamans, there are various types. One of them is those who were humans in their lifetime. Most are heroes who left their names in history, but the reason they can become gods after death is not their own power. Rather, it's the wishes and prayers offered to them by the living, elevating the deceased beyond mere mortals. Those who pray do not necessarily need innate spiritual power, and religion or formality doesn't matter much either. The important thing is the sincere wishes and offerings they make. Countless people's repeated offerings, accumulated over the years, give meaning to the void and create the fruition of a god. In a way, a shaman who handles gods is someone with the right and duty to harness that gathered power. Today, I've seen quite a strange sight. No matter how you look at it, subduing Demon Emperor seems to match the divine status of Guan Yu. I don't know how the yokai can harness that power. But it doesn't look good. We'll have to overlook some things, dirty as they may be. Disgusting. It's so foul that it feels like my nose is paralyzed from the stench of beasts. It's well known that you all excel in such petty tricks. As far as I know, your unique spells are two. One is the fox bead, and the other is likely a spell that mesmerizes the mind, right? Well, now that I've learned something new, I'll keep it in mind for when I need to kill another fox in the future. There's no need to keep that in mind. Something invisible is, no, it's not blocked, it just stopped. But why? The Fox clan's unique spells are a total of 2. However, neither of those 2. Anyway, besides me, no one else can do it. Controlling disgust and fascination is not the specialty of the Fox. Taking control of the disgust and fascination. What in the world? It's nothing special, I told you, right? Your disgust and fascination is nothing exceptional. Even if the lineage was different, her capabilities and evaluation wouldn't change much. While you were taking a short break earlier, I roughly figured out how you handle the disgust and fascination. So, I made this. A spell that can control these creatures much more effectively than yours. Capable not only in supernatural spells, but also in human spells and Taoist magic. This is unbelievable, there's no way something like this is possible. Taking it a step further, a genius capable of its application and modification. Well, I don't quite understand. But I can do it. Yokai power and righteous chi. Although each denotes the energy used by humans and yokai, in truth, their origin is all chi derived from nature. However, as they pass through the filter of yokai and humans, they are processed into fuels with different properties. Since each fuel is utilized differently, naturally, compatibility is also an impossible feat. It is impossible for humans to use spells with their righteous chi, and the same goes for the opposite case. She improved my sorcery in a better way. If that's a human, I wouldn't know, but for a yokai, it doesn't make sense. Unless she's using yokai power instead of righteous chi, a completely new technique must be created for different methods that serve the same function. Even if she claims to have created a technique similar to my spirit manipulation technique, there's no way she can copy all the functions in such a short time, including halt and change in direction. There must be some limit to the commands I can give. If that's the case, then, there's one thing I'm curious about. Is this kind of thing a common technique among you to the extent of mass production? Well, from our perspective, it's not particularly commendable, but in your values, using techniques that harm your own kind would definitely fall under taboo. It seems like you're making quite a cute misconception. The reason alchemy is forbidden is not because it harms fellow humans. It's because it's a simple yet efficient way to gain power. You've heard of grasping the subject, right? There probably isn't a creature that grasps the subject as well as humans do. The problem is, apart from grasping, we're also creatures that utterly refuse to accept our own kind. Physical abilities, intelligence, and even appearance. Even within the same species, differences in status naturally arise based on innate qualities. It's only natural for those of lower status to show deference to those above them. However, rejecting that natural order is what defines humans. Even if they were to die and come back, they would bark in competition and jealousy, rather than submit to a superior they can never catch up to. Ethics and morals, laws and rights. They're all just a facade created to tame and appease such individuals. Fortunately, merely maintaining that facade is enough to delude themselves into thinking they have inherent rights or potential. Is that so? I can't say for sure whether your words are wrong or not. It seems there are humans who think differently. It felt like they sincerely grieved and agonized over the death of their own kind, without any hidden motives or calculations. It wasn't because their blood was mingled, or there was any other special connection. I wonder. Of course, they must be endlessly foolish. It's equivalent to staring blankly while the opponent is right in front of them. This is enough. Since this much distance has opened up, catching up with a mere shaman is impossible. Hey, how about intercepting this once? Try holding out until you have the chance. This one's grudge is undoubtedly the worst among all the spirits I possess. Unbelievable. Well, I can't say I ever made any promises, but I thought we had an implicit agreement to fight quietly if possible. Are these humans here going to meddle regardless of whether we want it or not? Well, either way is good for me. I've already withdrawn myself back into empty space where there's nothing around. Summon. 5 tails for one hand. I should be satisfied with just that for now. Well, this seems just about right. Yokai restriction spell. I haven't heard that I need to cast one to leave the human realm. Could it be because I lack the qualifications? Not necessarily so. Even if you have the qualifications, there are those who require restriction spells to limit their power. Yokai with power equivalent to or surpassing that of shamans. It's not unknown that you've reached such a level, it's a fact that no one is unaware of. I'm truly grateful for the high evaluation, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm always being pushed into unfavorable situations. The coexistence of too inexperienced to leave the human realm and too strong, requiring a restriction spell, is quite perplexing. The measures taken due to issues with you shouldn't make you feel bad. It's the will of the Yokai King, and even I, when traversing the human realm, am affected by restriction spells. And, in case there's ever a need to use your power, I believe that even in a situation with a restriction spell, you would be able to use your ingenuity to overcome it to the fullest. That's also why I've come to find you now. Overcoming with ingenuity. I managed to do it as expected, but even if it's just one hand or even just a hand, summoning with just 5 tails was still too much. Overloading my Dan and Ki pathways, no wonder she called Choi Saiwu pathetic. But pushing a bit beyond the limit was probably the right choice. The shaman's soul she was trying to summon was not an ordinary item. To press down the already released seal, she'd have to draw out firepower even if it meant overloading. Was the one I just defeated the second one? It doesn't seem like the type to break all at once just from losing a tail. It won't take long, maybe a few minutes. So now, I will search for Choi Saiwu. Thank you, sis. Thanks to you, I can enjoy myself outside to my heart's content. From now on, let's play together. Forever. Ah. The barrier is weakening, which means, they've succeeded. I hope everyone is safe and not seriously injured. I'm not too worried about Sealwa, but Saiwu and his friend. Even if the barrier hasn't completely lifted, if I try hard enough, I can force my way out somehow. In my case, there shouldn't be major wounds, but the problem is that human bodies are different. It would be the right choice to wait until the barrier completely disappears, but please, let there be no issues until then. Saiwu. Don't worry, Sealwa just temporarily intervened so as not to startle you. Thank you. For risking danger to save my mother because of me. Risking danger, what else could I do? I'm sorry that this is all I can do. Before coming here, I felt a strange sensation. Like my breathing became a bit easier. If I'm correct in my thinking, it seems like the barrier has been lifted. Salmi, are you planning to fly away with Mom? Yes. Since the barrier will completely disappear soon, I'll take you and Mom. No, for now, just take my mom alone. What on earth are you saying? Saiwu, I understand your intentions, but right now, it's not a decision made out of emotion. I thought about it on the way here, but there's something strange about the shamans here. From the moment we realized that I, or you, were inside this place, if we had gathered our strength together, the situation would have ended instantly. However, instead of doing that, after Yushin and I neutralized one side, another shaman appeared as if they were waiting. I've considered two possibilities. There might be conditions that prevent the shamans maintaining the barrier from getting too close to each other. For some reason, these people don't seem to have a good or cooperative relationship with each other. The likelihood is low, but whatever the case, they over there would have naturally anticipated the scenario of when the barrier breaks. Most importantly, there's still one person left. If I were that person, I would be focusing all my attention, waiting for an opportunity to escape from this place. Definitely, in any case, the disappearance of the barrier would mean that Sealwa has won. I don't know Sealwa's exact condition right now, but if she and I join forces, we can handle the remaining person. In the meantime, you'll take Mom and escape first. Don't worry. I believe this is the best course of action. No matter what happens, I intend to escape safely with Sealwa. You truly are impressive. Your judgment and decisive attitude are admirable. You're my descendant, but I might end up falling in love with you. Hey, Saiwu. We meet again. Hello, Saiwu. We meet again. So, the reason I'm here now is the unique spell, Wind Feather, draws in the wind around Salmi's feathers. Just by throwing the feathers themselves, it's possible to assume that it could surpass anti-tank rifles. But its level of destruction is limited to beasts and puppets. It's not a significant threat against extraordinary monsters. What to watch out for is its application. Skilled users of Wind Feather can accumulate the gathered wind power within the feathers. Disperse and release it as well. Even if we attack with all our might, he'll simply brush it off. In that case, we don't go strong but rather, go as sharp as possible. That's right, that's the correct answer for destroying the roots. Poison or curses. Or attacks with hot or sharp qualities. Of course, assuming you can hit in the first place. But still, to know how to use righteous energy. While the energy itself might be supplied through some means, managing it freely is a separate issue. Indeed, bloodline has a big influence. This person is Bai Haiyan, a goblin who attacked Saiwu today. It's best for you not to approach. The feathers I'll unleash this time will at least require more than just one hand to deal with. That's for sure. Just the wind feather you sent earlier was impressive enough. I don't think I can suppress it with just my body strength. But still, your friend isn't in a condition where you can afford to go all out right now, is he? The moment you go all out, not just me, but everything around here will be torn to shreds. Even if Saiwu manages to survive somehow. As long as you carry that burden, Wind Feather isn't the suitable spell. Still, I'm glad I came here to help you like this. This is all just a misunderstanding caused by your initial attack, Saiwu. Well, even if I seemed suspicious, it would have been nice if you at least asked why I came here. But getting punched once seems to have cooled your head a bit, right? To be honest, I didn't expect to find you again so soon. But those guys crossed the line a bit too much. I knew there would be some commotion during the day, but I thought they would focus on me. In fact, I even left some traces that could actually lead to me. If I had known it would turn out like this, I would have approached more quietly. It's my fault, sorry. You didn't just come here to have such a conversation. Yeah, I said it before, right? I came to help you guys. Saiwu, what you said was right. I'm not sure how the barrier was broken, but it's going to be tough to get out of here safely. Even if there's only one of the guardians left. They're probably on their way here by now. I told you. These guys, they even brought a swordsman after you capable of catching me. The remaining guardians here are not supposed to be here under any circumstances. There are even 2 Jangma here who, combined, can mimic a guardian. Without exaggeration, they are the forces that can safeguard Seoul. In other words, tonight, even if this city turns upside down, catching you is much more important. It's not surprising that your friend's powers were insufficient. The judges have probably sent elites of their choice, but they probably didn't expect the guardians to come out in full force like this. So what can we do? Since the guardians have already gone this far, they have to go all out to minimize losses. They may not arrive soon, but they are probably on their way. Considering the time when the barrier completely disappears, there might not be much time. But don't worry. I'll make sure all of you can walk out safely if Saiwu grants me one favor. When you say, all of you, of course, that includes the absent one. I'm not that callous. Alright. What do you need me to do? It's not that difficult. Just. How about it? It's not such a burdensome request, right? Okay. I'll accept that request. So, right now, yeah, that's a good idea. Just go down and walk out immediately. What? Literally. You don't need to fly. Just walk out in any direction, and no one will stop you. I know I'm saying this now. But I just killed the last remaining guardian. Sorry for just bringing it up now, but I feel like it might drag on if I explain more. Hello. Who else could it be? The one who killed the owner of the phone. But let's get to the point, no need to curse at me. You can really go down. I promise to take care of the rest, remember. Siowa. Don't worry. It's just. I stepped on something that annoyed me a bit. Well, things turned out that way, didn't they? Anyway, got it. Hey, I'll tidy up quickly and leave. Jeez. I don't understand why you'd ask me to leave after coming all this way. Well, I don't think it's such a bad deal for you. I don't really know, but your friend is probably safe. Didn't the real deal show up? Came in person saying, I caught the enemy, I'm here. Since it seems like he might have killed Bacon, too, don't just slack off and stare, there must be a reason. Well, then. We definitely need to wrap this up. What are you doing? Why on earth? I have to do this much so that I won't get blamed for not capturing you, master. Well, even if you go back now, I'll probably still hear some nagging. But it's easier to come back later if people say Kim Yushin defeated Kim Jae-gun, right? As you know, ultimately, in this world, the strong prevail. Even if the old man gets angry right away, deep down, he'll secretly be pleased if I say you won against me. Eventually, when you come back to your senses, one thing is for sure, I'll be secretly proud. Uncle, Since you're going out anyway, do what you want, at least, have some fun worth my arm's worth, okay? Got it? That's the one thing I want from you. A week has passed since then. At first glance, the world didn't seem to have changed much. But the change was on the people rather than the world itself. I think that's entirely possible. Unlike us, they haven't been given any information about the recent disturbances. The appearance of a goblin called Baihyung. And the presence of what's called darkness, a disaster in history, or perhaps, carrying disasters. It seems that there haven't been any catastrophic events like the one a week ago, but it's just a difference in scale. It's clear they're still actively operating. Now everyone might be able to vaguely sense it. Something unknown, unspoken by the media, police, or the government, is threatening their lives. Take a break from your messenger duties. There's nothing for you to do for a while, especially with Choi Siwoo's matters. It's fine for you to be here with him instead. There shouldn't be any major incidents now. You've worked hard all this time, so think of this as rest. Yes. Normally, I would probably be really happy. But at a time like this, when I feel frustrated at not knowing anything, if I were still doing the messenger job for the judge, I would at least know how things are going. Still, maybe it's comforting, the reason why my mind stays calm and focused. Have you been grocery shopping alone since morning? The fact that I'm staying here means it's as meaningful and important. Hello, ma'am. It's not even close to the mart, how about we all go for a drive together later in the evening? The weather is nice, perfect for a walk. Where are you going, for an appointment? Oh, only for a moment. A friend from my hometown is visiting. Siwoo has been living here since a week ago. Because of the incident a week ago, the house Siwoo was living in was significantly damaged. It was due to the battle between Sealwa and the Guardian. Fortunately, there were no casualties throughout the apartment complex. They also luckily managed to cover it up as a gas leak. And as temporary compensation from the construction company, Siwoo has been living in this villa for a while. But, there was actually a little help from someone. Yu Young, Hyunwoo clan, landlord. Well, see you next time, Salmi. As for Siwoo and me, I became Siwoo's middle school classmate and a kid who happened to live there. Take care, ma'am. Ah. I'm going to see a friend for a moment. It's the weekend, you've been through a lot. You work during the week, too, right? It's okay. It's something that needs to be done, and besides, during the weekdays, Goyu helps out in my place. Take care. Even though the likelihood is low, everyone is trying to protect Siwoo's mother against any potential threats. Siwoo, are you up? Yeah, just woke up. Just finished washing up. You want to come over to our place? I'll make something delicious for lunch. Siwoo, he's looked worn out since a week ago. He's been holed up in the house all these days. Today is the first time I've seen his face since we moved. If I can at least change his mood. You don't need to slice the fish cakes one by one. Siwoo. It's easier to stack several layers and cut them all at once. If the knife is dull, you can use scissors. Only red chili paste for seasoning. Do you have sugar or soy sauce? It would be good if you have red pepper flakes too. Well, we can get those from our place. Just wait a moment.